Hello and welcome to another update. In this one, we are talking about the Luhansk front, where the Ukrainians have finally initiated their full-on offensive in this area. We see that they previously pushed out the Russians from this bridgehead they had here in the west of Kreminna. Then we see them now fighting close to the front line here, next to Russia's defensive positions. We also see them trying to take the village of Nevsky, which is right next to the front line. And at the same time, there are conflicting reports by Warmapper and Ryber, where Warmapper claims that the Ukrainians have managed to capture Karmasinivka and have passed through, while also attacking Kovalivka and Novodian, while Ryber reports that there's fighting in the village and that it hasn't been taken. Further north, we see that they're still fighting in Serhiivka, while the Ukrainians have managed to capture Miasu-Sharivka and Andriivka. Further north, we see that the Ukrainians are still fighting around Kuzmivka, trying to break through this position. And here further north, we see them fighting at Kochlyarivka, Kuslivka, and Orlyansk. Further north, there's no fighting reported. So, as I've mentioned the past couple of weeks, the Ukrainians have been doing probing attacks. So there are three types of different situations for the defensive position. First of all is that they could have a weak position, weak spot, where the Ukrainians have been searching for and trying to punch through. By not finding a weak spot, there are two other options. The first one is that the Russians have spread their forces thinly across the whole line and that every position is equally defended. And the other option is that the whole defensive line looks steady and strong, while some parts aren't. This means that what they're doing right now is that they're pushing on the whole front. Assuming it's the first option, that the Russians have spread their forces thinly. But if it so happens that some positions hold back better than others, then they will most likely pull back some of the forces and focus on that position, as that would be a weak spot. So that's what we're seeing right now with the full front-wide assault. Also, as I mentioned earlier, it's about 40,000 Ukrainian troops in this front line. According to some sources, we see that the Ukrainians started winning. We see that the Ukrainians started winning with their counterattacks because forces from Britain and other European and NATO countries who have been trained by NATO personnel had returned to the country in large numbers, as well as being well equipped with NATO equipment and finally teaming up with the foreign volunteers. This means that it is a large professional force that is well equipped, that is focusing their forces at one spot, while the others are focusing the normal Ukrainian soldiers, which are of less quality and lower quality of equipment. So what the Russians are used to is the normal Ukrainian fighting soldier, and now they're fighting sometimes the normal Ukrainian fighting soldier and other times the well-equipped, well-trained, stronger Ukrainian fighting force. That means once the Ukrainians focus their forces somewhere, they are most likely going to break through, as it allows them to have this element of surprise with their heavy blows that they punch through the Russian defenses. As we can see here, it's literally formed like a fist, and that is because it's a heavy blow that they suddenly come with that the Russians weren't expecting. However, we still see that the Russian defensive line is by this highway, so until they've broken through this highway here in the south between Svatove and Kreminna, they haven't passed through the Russian defenses. But that's it for this update. Thank you all for watching and have a great day.